Welcome here to a very special piece of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we're back here inside of the Cafe Cabal studios here with my guy Taj Harris. Taj and I have spent a lot of time together over the years in his time coming into Syracuse as well as this next chapter. So I'm very happy that he took some time with us here to start off this week of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So let's bring him in. Taj, how we doing?
What's going on, sir? Thank you, man.
Absolutely. And Taj, you know, this has been a journey. Let's go back to your original recruitment and why did you choose Syracuse in the first place originally?
I mean, so one of the reasons why I really chose Syracuse is my mother. You know, she went up there on a trip me in Syracuse, and literally Syracuse was my only visit that I went to because it was just so good, you know. And my mother and Coach Babers and even other coaches on the staff, such as Coach Reno Ferree, there was a lot of coaches that just felt like it was a good vibe, you know. It was a family vibe, and it still is family vibes from you guys. But it was just a place that I know I could call home, and that was one of the reasons why I knew Syracuse was a place I could be at.
And so you come into Syracuse, and you know you obviously had the opportunity to get out there onto the field right away. What was your initial feeling when you first stepped out on the field at the Dome when you started at Syracuse?
Oh, man, it was a journey, man, just like you said. But when I first stepped on the field, it was literally a dream come true, you know. My whole life I've been playing, you know, younger. I've been playing up at the high school, started varsity from the beginning. So literally, when I got to college, I knew I wanted to play, you know. And it was a little bit of adjustment that I had to do. I had to adjust because, you know, I was playing quarterback in high school my last 2 years. I only played wide receiver my sophomore year in high school, and that was literally the only year I ever played wide receiver. So I had to get back into the groove of that. And I mean, just being able to get back on that field, though, it was just a dream come true.
You know, and for you, as we look back on your history at Syracuse, you know, playing in 2018, 19, 20, and then part of this season here in 21, you've had multiple different quarterbacks. You've experienced Eric Dungey, Tommy DeVito, Garrett Schrader. What has that been like for a wide receiver to have a bunch of different signal callers?
I mean, I believe that just made me better, you know, just being able to know how to adjust, knowing that football is football and anybody can go down at any time, you know, and just knowing that you got to be able to go with things off the run. And I mean, I feel as though that kind of helped my game. Although I would have loved to be able to have a consistent QB, you know, to get more timing, you know, just the more rhythm and stuff like that. Because that's one thing I believe that, you know, kind of hindered my career there at Syracuse. It was like the rhythm was never like, you know, but, you know, it was plays to be made and I made them. But I feel as though me being able to play with different quarterbacks just helped me adjust, really.
And how did you kind of navigate through that? Did you have moments of strife and frustration at all, having to, you know, have a bunch of different quarterbacks and knowing that from season to season, you know, things could change in an instant? Did that get frustrating at all? How did you deal with it?
Not at all, sir. I wouldn't say it was frustrating, really, because all them guys ballers that you named, Eric Dungey, Tommy DeVito, Garrett Schrader, they're all ballers, and they all play differently. But at the end of the day, they all play with heart, and that's just what I needed at the end of the day. And they pushed me to be better, and I just try to push them to get better at the end of the day.
You and I have talked about a lot. We talked last season about leadership, you know, and obviously there was the incident with the camera and whatnot. Hindsight 2020, what did you learn from that moment where, you know, you had a gesture, you know, toward the camera and it got picked up and went all over the place? What did you learn from that?
Maturity, man. At the end of the day, that's one thing I just had to learn. Like I had to realize that I'm not a little boy no more, and the cameras are rolling as I learned. But at the end of the day, I just had to learn, like, being a leader, you got to be a leader at all times. You can't just be a leader when you step in between them lines, you know. Cameras are always rolling, people are always watching, so you got to make sure you stay locked in. And that's one thing I had to learn.
You know, you've had moments where you've been visibly frustrated. You've taken your helmet off. You've screamed on the field before. You know, you kind of wear your emotions on your sleeve at times. Have you always been that way? And how would you describe kind of maybe some of those moments for you? I mean, is that just who Taj Harris is? Are we just going to kind of see what you're feeling in the moment?
I mean, that's something that I actually had to work on, because I'm very very competitive, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm not capable of. And at the end of the day, when I feel as though, wearing my heart on my sleeve is something that I do, but it's something that I got to work on. When you show too much emotion, that's something that the opponents could pick up on fast. So that's something I definitely got to work on. Something that I have been working on to change. But yeah, I mean, it's just the fire in me, man. I just want to be able to go out there and give it my all, every play, every second of the game. I just want to be able to go out there and put my best foot first, man.
You've had some proud moments at Syracuse. You've had some explosive plays. Is there anything that sticks out to you?
What do you mean? My career there? What sticks out?
Yeah, in your career there, like, do you have a player too that really just sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I got to start off with Eric Dungey, man. He one of the reasons why I became a starter in the offense. He believed in me, man, and that's something that stuck with me since I've been here, man. Because he's seen the dog in me. I knew I had the dog in me, but he let me know, like, it don't matter what stage you on. It don't matter if you're a freshman. It don't matter what it is. You gotta have to go out there and handle business, man. Eric Dungey is somebody that was a good role model for me when I first stepped there. There was a bunch of guys though. Jamal Custis. He was a wide receiver that showed me the ropes, showed me what and what not to do on and off the field. Dante Strickland, another New Jersey native, man. He's a baller. He showed me, man. He showed me a lot of things. But I mean, there's a lot of moments, man. I was on that 2018 team when we went to the bowl, man. That year was like a movie, man. But I mean, yeah, it's a lot of people there. It's a lot of people in the program that I look up to.
When you made the decision to go into the transfer portal, bring me into that timeline. When did you start thinking about it? And then bring me through when you actually made the decision. Like, what was that time period like? When did it start? And take me through that a little bit.
Well, I knew there was going to be changes in the offense, but I didn't know it was gonna change as fast as it did. But I would say I started thinking about hitting a portal maybe around that second game, because I knew at the second game, once I felt like things weren't really weren't panning out how I thought it would, I knew that I didn't want to waste this year eligibility. I never redshirted ever in my career. I came out playing as a true freshman, so I knew I couldn't just throw a year out the drain again, especially doing what I'm trying to do, play at the next level. So that was a big key factor that went into it. And once I knew I had to make that decision and make it happen, I just knew that's what had to happen.
What was it about the offense that in that second game against Rutgers this season, you just knew, like, hey, this is not really the way that I'm going?
To answer that, sir, truthfully, it was just knowing the situations that was going on in the quarterback room, and just knowing what was leaning towards, because Gary Schrader and Tommy DeVito got two different ball games, not to take any away from neither of them, but I just knew it was going to be a different style of play with Gary Schrader being that guy.
For you and your relationship, yeah, and I want to go back to your time with Eric Dungey. Such a leader, such a dog, which I believe you said, and I've said that all the way through. In my opinion, of Syracuse quarterbacks historically, he deserves to be on Mount Rushmore for Syracuse quarterbacks. What did he leave you with? I know you said because of him you got out there on the offense, but how did he believe in you? What did he do? Like, what is his impact on your life? What's the imprint that Eric Dungey left with you?
The imprint, man, Dungey just showed me that at the end of the day, any game could be a last game. And if you ever watched Eric Dungey play, he playing every down like it could be his last, man. And that's just something that I took with me and stayed with me. When I get the ball, I'm not just trying to get a first down. I'm not just trying to complete a pass. I'm trying to take it to the house, And that's something Eric Dungey, every time he could make a play, he was just a guy that was a playmaker. But that's something that changed my game drastically.
And being in that bowl season, that 10-3, there's so many things that happened that year that hadn't happened for Syracuse in a decade, or some things 2 decades. To be a part of that history, a return to 10 wins, going to that bowl game at the Camping World Bowl, winning against an old rival in West Virginia, doing it in the fashion that you guys did it. How will that stay with you forever? That was your first season in college football.
Yes, sir. That, just like you said, that was my first season, man. And I'm happy it went the way it went, but that season was just incredible. But that showed me the work that you got to put in to be able to be that successful. It's not just about you at all. It's a team. Like you've heard before, I'm pretty sure you heard this. You're only as strong as your weakest link, you know? And that's something that I picked up from that season at the end of the day. And I knew that you don't just walk out on that field and every weekend and become 10-2. You got to put that work in the off season. I learned that there's no such thing as off season from that season. We grinding all year round, you know? Keep that foot on the gas.
That coming here from Taj Harris here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios. Taj, 2019, Tommy DeVito takes over the offense. His best season statistically, had over 2,000 yards passing. Granted, it wasn't the season that you all hoped it would be. Half the wins came through. You went from 10-3 to 5-7. But what did you take away from 2019?
One thing that I really took was you can't base what you got ahead of you off of what you did before. You know, we had a lot of guys come back from that bowl game season, but just because we had them guys come back didn't mean we were going to do the same thing. Not taking anything from them guys, because at the end of the day, all the guys put our head down and we grinded all off season, you know. But I mean, from that season, it just showed us that like you gotta go harder. You gotta go harder, and you can't go as hard as you did the year before. You gotta go harder than that, because just like we grinding, everybody else grinding too, you know. But that was a season that I won't forget either, man. I was born on the other side of Tristan Jackson. Tristan Jackson is like a brother to me, man. We still in communications to this day. But yeah, that was a season to remember too, sir.
And then 2020, the team goes 1-10 during a pandemic year. Bring me into what was it like playing during the pandemic, and why did you decide to play? And just kind of from there, what you took away from it. But what was it like to play during the pandemic, and why did you decide to go out there?
First off, at the end of the day, pandemic football was different, but at the end of the day, to me, football is football. You know, whether there's a crowd there, there's not a crowd there. You got to go out there and give it your all. And that 1-9 was hurt. But you know, we had some guys opt out and all that. But you know, it's football. You got to make adjustments. But that season was hard on us. But I feel as though at the same time it made us stronger. You know, all the guys that we had to rely on and keep going week in, week out. No matter if it looked ugly, you got to go out there and ball. You got to go out there and battle. And that whole opt-out thing, I never had that option. Yeah, everybody had the option and all that, but I had to go. You know, my family, man, you know, people depending on me and everything like that. Any opportunity I got to get out on that field, that's what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So that was a decision that was made before it was even thought about.
So for you, there was no chance that you were ever going to opt out?
No, sir. If we was able to play football, the pads is on.
How did you deal with Abdul Adams and Jarvion Howard, since you're a part of the offense? How did you deal with them opting out?
At the end of the day, that running back room was still filled with talent. You know, Sean Tucker, I feel as though he put up numbers. He was coming out balling week in, week out. Cooper Lutz, he was ready to step up. I remember he was playing slot wide receiver. And I remember talking to him like, bro, what do you really want to do? He telling me running back, and that's what he did. And I'm pretty sure, Cooper Lutz told me he played running back in high school, so it was nothing really new to him. So, you know, but there was definitely talent in the running back room besides those guys. So it was just about adjusting, you know, putting them guys in. It's time to make plays.
For you in this offense, to fast forward to 2021, did you ever get truly comfortable with Tommy DeVito? Like, did you feel like he was your quarterback? Did you guys have a good relationship? Did you feel like your timing was down? Looking back on it, what was your relationship like with Tommy? Because as a receiver, you're success is directly connected to your quarterback. So he was your quarterback more so than anybody else in your time at Syracuse. What was your relationship like with him?
I mean, Tom is my guy, on and off the field. But I mean, on the field, I just feel as though, like, I mean, every quarterback misses a throw. Wide receivers drop balls. But I feel as though as we rolled on throughout our careers, I felt like though we just started clicking more and more. And to be honest, this season, I felt as though if he was able to get comfortable, not looking over his shoulder, I feel like he'd have turned out to be a whole different animal. Because that guy got a slinger, man. I'm telling you, like, he got a rocket on him, man. I know he know what he's doing, but I feel as though it was just about me and him just being able to just keep clicking and clicking and clicking at the end of the day. And you know what happened, so he wasn't really able to do that. But yeah, he was definitely able to pitch it to me.
Was your time at Syracuse this season, was it kind of, I don't want to call it doomed, but was it on the hot seat from the beginning when Dino said that he was going to play both quarterbacks? Did that kind of make you stop and think, okay, well, if there's going to be two guys out there, how do I get comfortable? I mean, how did you look at it when he came out at camp and said, we're going to play them both?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I know, like, at the end of the day, it's competition at every position, on a roster, at any position, there's going to be fighting for competition. And that's what you got to be if you want the team to be great. The best man has to play, And, I mean, that's something that I actually adjusted to, really, because they was going back and forth with the ones in spring ball and in camp, Yeah. So I don't really think that was really a doomer or anything like that. It was just about being able to make plays when plays was made, man.
What was the main reason for you then for leaving? Was it just the commitment of Schrader and Tucker to the run in this offense, leaning on the run? I mean, was that the reason? Was there other reasons? What, like you said in the Rutgers game, you saw that like the offense was kind of shifting and whatnot. Was it the commitment to the run that just made you think, okay, you know what, I got one more year and I can't be in an offense that's going to lean on this because I'm a wide receiver? Was that it, or was there something else to it?
No, I don't believe that. At the end of the day, I could go to any team and they could run the ball as much as they want, and I'm just going to have to do what I got to do. I'm going to have to fit in where I fit in, you know what I'm saying, sir? But to be honest, I just felt like it was more so the communication between me and the staff, and I just felt like things weren't, we just weren't eye to eye. And at the end of the day, if you've been in any program or anything like that, communication was key. So once communication wasn't where it was supposed to be, it was time to make a decision.
So you decide to move forward, and I want to get to your recruitment in a second, but Tommy DeVito and Jarvion Howard also make the decision. You said Tommy's your guy. What are your thoughts on Jarvion as you guys all kind of go into your next chapter? What's your take on, what you can be? Because it's kind of atypical to see a starting quarterback, a top wide receiver, and who was a number 2 running back move on, especially during the season.
Yeah, I mean, Jarvion Howard, my guy too, man. He came in with my class, true freshmen. We were freshmen together, man. And that's my guy. But I felt as though he just felt like he wasn't able to showcase his talents, and that guy's a baller. You know what I'm saying? But I just felt like he knows what he's capable of. So I think he just wanted to showcase his talents.
So we look at this now, Taj, and we look at your recruitment, and as you go into the transfer portal and you had shared the teams that had offered you to go down this list here, Mississippi State, and which ironically is where Garrett Schrader came from, Western Kentucky, Utah, Kentucky, Texas A&M, as well as the Temple Owls. Ole Miss brings you an offer, NC State inside of the ACC, Louisville inside of the ACC as well, and then you get one from Auburn. How quickly that you entered the transfer portal were you having teams reach out to you, and what are your thoughts when I read off this very incredible list? I mean, it's, to me, the teams that we're offering you are all teams that are going to obviously give you an opportunity to have a great next chapter. How quickly did you enter the portal and then teams were like, hey, let's go? Because from my point of view, it looked like within seconds they were reaching out to you.
Yes, sir. But I didn't. Of course, there was interest from guys I had seen. I got some followers on Twitter, but I didn't actually get in contact with anybody until my name was actually cleared in the portal because I had to get that thing settled and handled and all that. But that was probably a day after I had made the post on Twitter. But yeah, as soon as I got that thing cleared, my name cleared, everything in there, things just began to roll, man. That same day, sir.
Did you? And go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, but what was the second half of that question?
Just for you to look at, how quickly it happened. Like you said, it happened within a day once you got cleared. But just to look back on this list of teams, I mean, these are substantial teams. These are teams that go to bowl games. There's a lot of SEC teams that are in here. I mean, this list is no slouch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I believe in myself, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know, where my talent level set, and just seeing that other people believe in me and knowing what I'm capable of, I just felt like it was supposed to happen. I'm ready to ball. I'm ready to ball at the end of the day, and I feel as though other teams understand that and know what I'm capable of doing.
So for you, once you bring me into the process of the transfer portal, because everybody talks about it, but only the players get to go into it. What is the process like when you said, okay, you know what, I'm going to transfer? Bring me into the steps you have to take and how, and so what are the steps to get into the transfer portal? And then once you're in, how does it kind of work? Because you get to experience it and nobody else does, yet everybody's talking about it.
Yes, sir. First I think it started off with just having a conversation with the head coach and the staff, letting them know what's really going on and what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, they can help you, which Coach Baber is in the coaching staff. I'm pretty sure I've reached out to guys, and I'm pretty sure coaches that coached with them before, I've reached out to them to see what was really going on and all that. But, first I would say, you definitely got to sit down with head coach, coaching staff, let them guys know what's going on. And then you got to go to, you got to go to compliance and all that. Get the paperwork registered. But to be honest, it's not really a long process. Once you get your papers done and everything signed and sealed in the transfer portal, that's when things it's like you coming out of high school again. Teams get to contacting you. You have a phone call. You talk to some coaches on the staff. You might get offered. You might not get offered, and from there it just start to roll.
Did you have to kind of shake off the dust a little bit because you haven't been recruited in a few years? Like, what was that like for you to get back into that?
Nah, it was pretty much the same, It just started rolling, And I feel as though I got way better than I have coming out of high school. So it was just really just being there, just learning how to not learning, but just making sure I stayed in contact with everybody who I wanted to stay in contact with and who I want to, see where I wanted to go. Because I knew as soon as I hopped in the portal, I knew one thing I wanted to do was visit these schools to see what's going on. Because like I told you, out of high school, I only went on one visit, and that was Syracuse. So this time around, I wanted to make sure I was able to see a few colleges, to make sure I make the right decision. Not saying Syracuse wasn't the right decision. I just wanted to be able to do the recruitment process how I should have did it the first time.
Do you think if you had visited more schools that you would have still come to Syracuse, hindsight 2020? Like, how do you look back on that?
Yes, I believe I would have still came to Syracuse because at the end of the day, Coach Baber's offense, explosive offense, like you said, Orange is the new fast. That tempo, I that was something that I loved being a part of. They definitely was throwing the ball, getting it out, and was giving us opportunities to make plays, sir.
You leave Syracuse with some more time on the clock, so to speak, but you had over 2,000 yards receiving despite all that. What does that mean to you looking back on your Syracuse career that you surpassed 2,000 yards at Syracuse?
It just showed me that, at the end of the day, I can make plays, and I know what I'm capable of, and I just know what I really want, and I want to be able to have a 1,000+ season, not just 2,000 yards altogether. I want to be able to have a 2,000 yard season. You know what I'm saying, sir?
Yeah, and so now you have a chance with Kentucky. Why did Kentucky get the commitment from you? Out of all the schools that reached out to you, why was Kentucky the right fit? Why are they the right fit?
I mean, for one, I want to say the coaching staff, is filled with a bunch of great men, and one thing I do when I get around people new or something like that, I just want to pick up on the vibes that they're giving me, have good conversations. And since they started recruiting me, they actually, there's some coaches on the staff that was coaching with coaches from Syracuse that's on Syracuse staff, and coaches on the Syracuse staff hit me up telling me, like, there's a bunch of good men on that staff, and there certainly are, and definitely that's something that's big to me, knowing that them are people that I could vibe with, people that I could talk to. And then on the other side, the football side, Kentucky offense it's just something that I fell in love with, just being able to go out there and see them play, just being able to sit in meetings, hear their verbiage, all that. I just feel as though that's something that I had to get into.
You said this time around, getting recruited again, you wanted to visit schools, visit more than one school. What was your list? I know that I saw that you had an Ole Miss one before you made the decision and whatnot. Who did you get to go see?
No, just Ole Miss and Kentucky. But my recruitment, like, it's not over. I'm still traveling and still taking visits. I had lost my state ID, so it was hard for me to travel. So I actually had to reschedule some dates, reschedule some visits. So I think I got 3 more visits left, and I'm gonna might try to fill up all 3 of them to see what's going on, man.
So, which schools would you like to go see?
Well, I don't actually got I don't know one particular that I'm going to, but I might check out a few more SEC schools.
Okay, so you're committed to Kentucky, but are you telling me there's still a chance you could go somewhere else?
I'm 100% committed to Kentucky, sir.
Okay, all right. But you're still taking these visits. Why? Just because you have the chance to, so you want to do it this time?
Yes, sir. I just want to be able to get out and see everything, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm 100% committed to Kentucky, but it's a process that I got to go through. I got to see things through, man.
So you're going to Kentucky. You got this opportunity. It's the SEC. Are you ready? You ready for that? I mean, we're talking, this is, the ACC, a lot of talent, a lot of great stuff, a lot of things I respect. I respect teams all over the country. Looking at the SEC with Kentucky, there's going to be some grand old stages you're going to be on. So are you prepared for that? Do you feel like your time at Syracuse has prepared you to step on stage at Kentucky?
Yes, sir. I believe it did, sir. At the end of the day, football is football. You got to put that work in off season. I just got to prepare myself at the end of the day. I've been to a few games, going to the Ole Miss game. Just this weekend, I went to the Kentucky-Tennessee game, and I see the difference. But, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to perform in them big crowds. You know what I'm saying? It get loud, but, I'm used to loud. Syracuse, that dome get to rocking. It's enclosed, so I'm ready. I'm ready for the noise, baby.
What do you want to say to Coach Babers as you move forward?
Coach Babers, I love him, man. I'm telling you, people say it all the time, but he's really like a father figure to me, man. He's somebody I know I could talk to at any time, any moment. I just want to tell him thank you for everything. Thank you for the opportunities, and I love you, man. He's literally like a father to me, sir.
What do you want to say to the fans, Syracuse fans?
Oh, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find better fans, man. Even though when I made that decision, there was a lot of trolls on Twitter, but I knew it wasn't the real Syracuse fans, man. Syracuse, man, it was nothing. I love the love that y'all showed me, man. It's still love. I walk on campus. I'm in the airport. People still know me, still saying hi, want to take pictures. It's just moving in me, and Syracuse will always be a home to me.
So we're stepping forward. This is the next chapter. You got one more season to go. What are you asking of yourself on and off the field as you go into this final collegiate chapter?
I got to stay locked in, that without a question, without a doubt at the end of the day. I know what I got to do on the field. I know what I got to do off the field. At the end of the day, I got to make sure I'm locked in at all times.
Are you a
Make it
leader
happen.
now? Do you feel like you're a leader now?
Yes, sir. I always been a leader. At the end of the day, whether I chose to, whether I didn't choose to, it was just about leading in the right way.
And how do you lead the right way?
At the end of the day, you got to be the example, man. You got to be able to go out there and be a leader every day. There's no days off being a leader. And the day you take off, you can't leave that to be questionable.
Taj, before I let you go in closing here, you said, your family's obviously been a part of this process for you. How much do you involve people around you, and how much of it is you? Is it your decision and you kind of have like a cabinet of people you speak to, or do you feel like you made this decision with people? Did they have a lot of say? Was it more of you? Like what does your unit look like, so to speak, when you're trying to figure out, am I going to stay? Am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to visit? Like, who's involved in that, and how involved are they?
I would say my immediate family, that being my mother, my girlfriend. We now have a son. He was born October 8th. But I mean, it really just my immediate family was saying it being them, because like at the end of the day, I want to be able to be with my family. Wherever I go, my family's coming with me, And my mother, of course she want to see me play on Saturdays, but she I got to make this decision to get where I got to get. So it's not so much them telling me where I should go or anything like that, because they support me 100%, regardless of where I go, what I do. But just being able to have my family with me, man, that's big.
You're a father. What does that do with the evolution of Taj Harris, the fact that you're responsible for another life?
I mean, it just put me in a different gear. I'm used to turning up the gears every chance I get. But, just knowing that there's a little guy, there's a little man depending on me with everything, it'll push any man to a different gear.
That coming from Taj Harris. Taj, you've been great. So the final moment of this is called rapid fire. It allows the opportunity for you to put me on the hot seat. You and I have talked for years. You've been awesome with me. You've been candid. You've been open. Doing this interview, I know, is different than what people are going to get anywhere else. And I'm honored and appreciative for you for that. So with that being said, I'm going to let you put me on the hot seat for a trio of questions that I have to answer. So fire when ready.
Come on, man. You gonna put me on the hot seat, man?
You're putting me on the hot seat.
All right, let me think, man.
You can ask me whatever you want.
Do you believe my career at Syracuse? Do you think I'm overrated or underrated?
I believe, and I have believed this, I don't think we've seen the final gear of Taj Harris yet. I don't think we have. I think there's more left in the tank. I think there's more on the table, and I'm excited to see what that's going to look like.
Yes, sir. Shit, man. Oh, my part of my.
No, you're okay. You got two more questions left. We're on the internet.
That's more. Do you believe the SEC is a harder conference than the ACC to play in?
I believe top to bottom right now, there's no question that the SEC is in a different world than everybody else. I think that you can argue that Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky. I mean, there's so many teams. A couple of years ago, I said if Florida had played a little bit better, the college football playoff could have been the SEC. It could have been Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. So I think, with Arkansas getting better, with Auburn getting back to it, with Kentucky being ranked and being a different team than they used to be in a good way, and Alabama and Georgia being who they are, and LSU will find its way back. Texas A&M is good now with Jimbo Fisher. The SEC is just, it's an incredible conference, and there's talent all over the country, and I love the ACC. I think when it comes down to the college football playoff, there's always 2 to 3 teams in the SEC you can argue to get in. So
yes, sir.
That's how I look at it. Last question.
Last questions. You think my Cuse boys gonna get to a bowl game this year?
They got 3 shots to win 1 game. So I know that winning in Louisville doesn't happen. I know that that's a Achilles heel for the team. I know NC State's very good, and I respect the heck out of Dave Doran. And I know Pittsburgh's always a tough one, and that one's at home. So I think Syracuse, if Syracuse plays with the offense able to score the way it has been, this defense can showcase what they've been able to lean on the last couple of years, and the special teams, punting and some of these other things, and Schmidt can get back to it and all that, which I believe he can. I think that this team has what it takes to get to 6 wins, and I think that, they're in the driver's seat, and they just need to take care of business.
That's right.
So that coming from Taj Harris, myself, Dan Tortora, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. Taj, I hope that we're not done. I hope you and I will continue to do interviews and have open line of communication as we always have.
Of course, sir.
And I definitely appreciate you doing this because, again, I know that they're not going to find the Taj Harris story anywhere else like they found it here today. And so I very much thank you that you've trusted me to tell your story. That means a lot to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.